What are you chasing if you are chasing love? I'm going to begin this with a spiritual component. If you have been listening, you are following my work, you know that there's a lot I have to say on the realm of bringing the spiritual into the physical. Let this resonate for you, and then I will talk further on self-esteem and a real-life story that I wanted to share to depict how we go in search of love outside of ourselves, at times to our own demise. And when we do so, we lose all these incredible moments to really know the self and love who we are and who we are becoming. A time of space and deep wonderment and light. All of which you bring into the moments of your life are the deep and valued circumstances of grace beyond now. In the majesty of forever inhabits the pureness of life you are witness to. All beauty, all tranquility, all kindness and imagination. All love becomes the foreground, for miracles are born here. Out of the tender kindness and the willingness to see yourself as incredible. Deep in the hallowed ground of life, the earliest moments become the conviction for how we see ourselves, for how we rise up to witness everything. This Ask Dorothy episode is about self-esteem. It is about making choices that always honor you. Self-esteem is what helps you live unstoppable. Ego, self-doubt, and a lack of self-love are deadly precursors to poor choices, to accommodating others other than yourself, and for compromising your values and morals because you are focused on finding approval, love, and being desired. Desired by your peers, by someone who finds you to be the one, as what you receive externally, in place of giving this to yourself. Self-esteem, defined, is an overall inclusive sense of one's worth, value, and abilities. It encompasses an honest awareness of how we see and view ourselves, including the regard for what practices serve to diminish our feelings and worth, and what behaviors serve to create positive feelings and confidence. While high self-esteem is indicative of a healthy and positive self-perception, low self-esteem is characterized by a negative self-image that can lead to self-sabotaging behaviors and perpetual difficulties in life. It's when you don't give enough value and approval and worth to who you are in spite of your learnings and growings and mistakes and setbacks. You never learn how to rely on yourself for feelings of worth and empowerment. When self-esteem is not earned through positive actions, self-nurturing and kindness, attained goals and self-approval, if you are not taught nor have learned that self-esteem is a construct that each one of us is self-responsible for, then you may continue to seek its rise in the values and opinions of others, even though it is not found there. 9 years is the length of time that Ainsley spent with Alex. Later, and as more details emerged post-relationship breakup, Ainsley would share glimpses of her life living with her boyfriend that, at that time, she wonders how she ever allowed herself to be controlled, subdued, admonished, and criticized daily. Ainsley's self-worth, which was fragile and incomplete, became intensely damaged. After moving back home with her parents at 23, she began to focus on taking care of herself, losing more than 70 pounds, eating healthily, and exercising. She posted her weight loss journey on social media and the breast augmentation surgery she had to reconstruct her body. The millions of views of her transformation journey didn't build Ainsley's self-esteem. Rather, it provided temporary reminders of the work that she did to save herself and to find herself again. As Ainsley began to feel better about her physical transformation, she took the step to put herself on a dating app and met Jeremy. Remember, her outer transformation. Inside, she was still the insecure, fragile self that held feelings of unworthiness and self-doubt. Remember, we can fix the outer part of us. However, unless the inner part, the mindset, the self-image, the way we think about ourselves, unless all of that changes to match our outer appearance that is changing for the better, we're going to have this distortion. We're going to have this outer appearance that doesn't match the way we think and feel about ourselves. Jeremy lived in the UK. Ainsley lied on the app about where she lived, claiming that she didn't want to meet anyone locally. Jeremy also lied in his profile, claiming that he was 3 years older than he really was. Ainsley began going to the UK to visit Jeremy, and despite both of them being dishonest at the outset, they began a relationship that was loving and respectful in a way that Ainsley had not known with Alex. The story doesn't end here. Ainsley once again made the sacrifice of putting her flourishing business on hold each time she would travel to be with Jeremy for extended weeks of time, and as she often funded the two of them to travel through Europe. Jeremy lived with his parents, was still attending school, and had no real job to sustain him. At 22, he also wasn't willing to move to another country to be with Ainsley. Many of us chase love. It may not be so obvious as putting our career on hold and leaving town to be with someone. However, many people chase love in different ways and often. You go in search of love outside of yourself because as a society we continue to be conditioned that love is given to us, that the more desirable, beautiful, sexy, successful, really any adjective that labels you to be worthy in the ways that others deem valuable is something that we look to others to decide. And so others' opinions and approval becomes our source of how we feel and what we believe is our worth. Yes, love is given to us by our caregivers and the formative relationships that we experience early in life. The missing piece, the piece that I teach, is the fact that self-esteem and self-love are learned experiences that result from learning how to rely on oneself for approval, for love, for acceptance, for knowing that we are enough. We are more than enough. For all of the ways that we need to feel good, desirable, confident, empowered, we also need to cultivate the root conditions that allow us to feel this when we need it, and as we need it, and frequently, and all based upon our own abilities and resolve. The goal is to appreciate when others compliment you, when others find you attractive, intelligent, wonderful, and yet to not be dependent upon external approval for feelings of worth, happiness, esteem, and love. These are the teachings that I bring to life when working with clients who have lost themselves, often in pursuit of love and approval, when they have not yet found a way to rely on themselves for this. As one does this work, that is self-love, growing self-esteem, feeling confident in who you are because of how you think about yourself, one learns that true self-esteem and self-worth is the expression of love and attention focused onto the self and nurtured consistently through the experiences of pursuing a path that is authentic to your ongoing learning about yourself and all that you desire to be. It's a beautiful construct, for as you focus on yourself and become more focused on what passions you enjoy, what talents and interests fuel your desire, and the ways in which you allow yourself to put this forward into the world, you become confident, you increase your self-esteem, and you are far less willing to waver on your values and morals in order to keep a relationship or to begin one. Whilst it is a normal evolution of development to be in love, to feel love for another, the intricacy is deeply important. We need to teach our children that our unconditional love of them is only the beginning. We need to teach our children the ways in which to love themselves, to honor their needs as important, and for them to provide for their needs. Then, if we do this, we are teaching the markers of self-esteem and self-honor and self-worth that become the pillars to which our children learn the imperative need for being the keeper and the inspiration of their growing esteem and self-worth. We have then invested in them the life-affirming habits that will allow them to know that self-love is the genesis of then finding love, not chasing it, rather allowing love to enter our lives as a natural progression of life itself. Love will always find you. You will need to choose well the person that you wish to enter into a relationship with, for you will want someone who is able to easily love you as you are, and to love you for all of the reasons that you first love yourself. And of course, if you would like my help to grow your self-esteem, to learn what is true embodiment of self-love, please reach out to me. Let me help. Thank you so much for joining me here. This is Dorothy Zennuriye Juno. Namaste.